Welcome back to Changing with the Tides, you guys. I'm sorry it's been a minute, but I'm back, and you know how life just does not sometimes work out the way you want it to? Well, that's exactly what happened with my video that was supposed to go up, and then it just failed miserably. Not miserably, but it just failed and did not work out. So, in today's video, I'm going to highlight a very special event that my church held. It was called the Live Saints Museum, and we pretty much just highlighted 12 different saints, and people got to learn about their stories and things like that. So today is going to be all about highlighting that, and then we will get back into interviewing people on their favorite Catholic celebrities. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will talk to you guys later. It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day. So what made this different than any other Sunday morning mass was the fact that the saints kind of processed in the very beginning of mass, and then they processed out. And if you know anything about St. Joseph's Parish in Sea Isle, then you know that the church is a separate building than the hall/auditorium because it's on the other side of the street. So you kind of have to walk a little bit, not super far, but you have to walk. So when mass was over, Father Perry arranged for the saints to walk out up 44th Street to go to the auditorium, and then in front of them was a guy, I think he was playing the clarinet or some kind of instrument, and he just was in front of them, and it was a lovely situation. I left church a little bit early right after communion to get to the auditorium in time, and when they were processing up the parking lot, it was just a lovely scene to watch, and so nice, so joy-filled. Okay, so that was the mass. Not very different than any other mass, just the saints processing made all the difference. Now we're going to talk about the people who threw the event. Father Perry, obviously. Huge thanks to him. Donna Hatfield, Jean Pitaluga, Karen Tironi, and Betsy Robinson. And I had the honor of sitting down with Donna Hatfield. Super nice woman, super gem of a woman. Love her. She's just great overall. Just overall great person. Great personality. Could click with a lot of different people. So I got to sit down with her, and we talked about why our parish decided to hold this event. And she discussed that Father Perry did something like this at his old parish, known as St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. And I went to Holy Spirit, so I'm kind of familiar with St. Elizabeth Ann Seton, which is in Absecon. And I had never witnessed this event, but I'm sure it was lovely because that was a lovely parish, as is St. Joseph's. But the knowledge of him doing that event already, and then bringing it to St. Joe's, he just thought it was a great idea, and it would bring so much community, and which it did. It was a great event. Could not have gone better, in my opinion, anyway. I mean, there were a few little hiccups, but again, it was our first year doing it, first time, first ever, and it was just a lovely event. So the event kind of worked different. I mean, I've never really seen an event work like this, but how it operated was that each station, so the saints had a station, and their station had props and made them kind of portrayed what their life was like, or what they were known for. So St. Patrick's station had beautiful green shamrocks, and gold accents and things like that. And then St. Francis had livestock, not real livestock. How funny would that be? But a life-size a life-size donkey and a life-size sheep and things like that. And then just each station was decorated to fit each saint's personality, or like I said, what they were known for. So when each group arranged in the parking lot, they would walk into the auditorium one by one, or group by group, we'll say. So group one had a heavenly helper, and the heavenly helpers kind of led each group. So group one was we'll just say St. Joan of Arc. That was station one. And she said what she needed to say about her saint. And then they moved on to St. Nicholas. And St. Nicholas said what he needed to say about his saint. And they moved on and so on. So it was each group kind of went from saint to saint. And they got to learn a little bit about each saint. And it was a beautiful thing. It was a little bit chaotic in that there were some older people and kids who wanted to sit down, and we didn't think to put chairs at each station, but tip for next year, now we know to put chairs at a few chairs at each station. But other than that, like, it was beautiful. Like, each station had families, they had older people, they had kids, they had babies. There were like 1-year-olds running around. It was so cute. Um, yeah, so that was a little bit about how the event worked, and each group had a heavenly helper that was kind of leading the group and kind of foreseeing how it all went. So that was a little bit about the program and how it worked. Now we're going to move on to, I'm going to list a few of the saints, not all 12 of them because I feel like that's a lot. But first we had St. Augustine, and he was played by Jimmy Bennett, or portrayed by Jimmy Bennett, played by Jimmy Bennett. I say that like it's like a movie. He was portrayed by Jimmy Bennett. And then we have St. Joan of Arc, who was portrayed by Lisa de Bruno. We have St. Andrew, who was portrayed by J.B. Flora. We have St. Francis, who was portrayed by Deacon Murphy. If you guys don't know who Deacon Murphy is, he is a gem of a man, and like, you should really get to know him. Then we had St. Aloysius Gonzaga, who was played by Bill McGinn. And then we had St. Patrick, who was played by Tom McQuillan, who I got to interview, and we'll hear about him in a minute. And then we did Pat Winans was St. Anne, and is that all of them? Oh, St. Teresa of Calcutta, one of the most important ones. She's one of my favorite saints. She was played by Marie Peltier, and when I tell you her portrayal of her was spot on, I'm not joking at all. Like, what you see in the picture, it's just, she looks amazing. So I was very impressed with her portrayal and costume, and just overall portrayal of her playing Mother Teresa. So now we're going to move on to the two different saints that I interviewed, who were St. Anne and St. Patrick. St. Anne, I talked about with Pat about why she chose St. Anne, and it was a very humbling and rewarding conversation, because she just chose the name chose St. Anne because her mother's name was Anne. And at the time when Jean Pitaluga came to her with this idea of doing this, and how she wanted Pat to be a part of it, Pat said her mother was going through some stuff, and since her mom's name was Anne, she decided to do St. Anne in honor of her mother. And it made all the difference, because she learned so much new information about St. Anne, and just, it was a very rewarding experience, because while her mother was sick, she was able to do research and like learn about who St. Anne was and what she went through and things like that. And it was just, like I said, a rewarding conversation. And I really need to get more involved with Pat Winans, because she's a very great person with a great personality. I remember many years ago, we're talking probably 10 years ago, I sang Christmas Eve Mass with her, and I believe her daughter, and it was just a great overall fun time. And it was nothing but the best regards for Pat and her portrayal of St. Anne. So, next I interviewed St. Patrick, and he was portrayed by Tommy McQuillan. And Tom was played St. Patrick beautifully. If you know Tom, you know he looks like he's very much Irish Catholic, and you can tell he has red hair. He just fit the role perfectly and beautifully. So I got to sit down with him, and him and I discussed why he decided to volunteer for this program. And he explained how he wanted to get more involved and do more outreach with the parish. So this was the perfect event, because ever since Father Harry came in, it's been, I don't know, just program after program and different things, and holding different events and things like that. And he just wanted to put himself out there. And the event was a great turnout, and he was very impressed with how it all worked out. And honestly, just getting to research St. Patrick was really a fun time. Very much side note, but if you've never been to St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City, you're really missing out. It is an experience, and I've only ever really gone at Christmas, but like I said, beautiful time, beautiful experience. There's always Christmas decorations, and it's decorated to the nines. Like, you have the nativity, different Christmas trees around. It's just beautiful, a beautiful and great experience. And I feel like anyone would love it. So if you haven't gone, go like tomorrow because you will love it. And Christmas is coming. I'm so excited. I very much am a Christmas enthusiast. That's my little TED talk on my interviews and how they went. And they really were just fun. It was fun to talk to the different saints and some of the organizers. So now I'm gonna wrap the video up, and we kind of just, the mass was beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it was not very different than your average mass, except for the fact that the saints processed in and they processed out. And then I got to sit down with Donna Hatfield, one of the organizers, and hear why we got put on the event. And then I went through some of the different saints and lots of ends, I'm sorry, but finally I got to interview two of the saints, and that was a great, humbling, rewarding experience. So if you're thinking or don't know if your parish would do this, go ask. It can't hurt to just ask your priest or pastor or whoever. If you think your church should do this, then by all means, you need to go like yesterday. Go say something, because I promise you guys won't regret putting on this event. So, thanks for tuning in today, guys, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys. Mwah.